So you get a chance to be around all these players a lot. As far as the Rockets and the Texans go, we're both teams are in a rebuild. Where do you see these teams being, in the next 2 to 3 years? Where do you see us being?
At the start of this time last year, I would say that I had more faith in the Rockets rebuild, but now that has flipped. You guys know the story with the Houston Texans, man. Ever since they blew that 24-0 lead against Kansas City, man, it's just been downhill, with the talent on the field, with other off-field issues that we're not going to get into. I mean, you guys saw it. But, as for the Houston Texans, where they go, I think the Houston Texans can go nowhere but up from here. You saw they brought in a new head coach in DeMeco Ryans, and the one thing that I would say is that, unfortunately, I've been around the team ever since the downfall started. But a couple weeks ago, when they had an opportunity to introduce DeMeco Ryans as their new head coach, that was the first time that I said, you know what, this finally looks like a real organization. It's no longer, a cloud hanging over this organization. It's no longer them settling for a head coach because you have a franchise quarterback, given his off-field issues, making things harder to depart. People are no longer saying, who wants to come to Houston, because you have a head coach with a lot of credibility and being at their press conference. I remind you, this is their third head coach they hired in 3 years. I've been to all three. And this was the very first time where the entire, almost every player on the roster showed up to that press conference. And it wasn't just current players, it was former players as well. And to see the support that he is given from his players. And like I mentioned, the credibility is back with the Houston Texans. As for the Houston Rockets, I kind of had that feeling at the start of the season, but given how this rebuild has been, given everything that is going on behind closed doors, and given the fact that this is their third year that they are probably going to end the season with the league's worst record. I think as of right now, they're 13-43 at the time of this recording. At this point, you really don't know where the Houston Rockets can go because, yes, you can say you can tank and get the number 1 overall pick and get Victor, or get the number 2 overall pick and get Scoot Henderson. But the only thing that you're going to be doing is just bringing in more younger talent. And what is that going to do with the young talent that you already have? For a quick example, if you go out and get Scoot Henderson, he plays point guard. What are you going to do with Kevin Porter Jr.? If you move Scoot Henderson to the 2 guard, what are you going to do with Jalen Green? If you move one of those guards and make him a 3, what are you going to do with KJ Martin? Like, every time you try to make sense of what the Houston Rockets can do or what they can and should do, it really doesn't make sense. So, as of right now, there's a lot they have to fix within that organization. But of course, the best part that I would say is, regardless how things look right now, they still have their foundational pieces set with guys like Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun, Kevin Porter Jr., Jabari Smith Jr., and a couple other guys as well.